Welcome back to the KickNPost YouTube channel and podcast with your hosts Jamal Thompson and Chris Perry. And we're here today to cover some of the mid-season, cover some of the topics we covered in the preview of the season and go over like a little bit of a mid-season review. We're at week, 12, 13?
Yeah, I think 13. Sounds about right.
A little bit past mid-season now,
Yeah.
Closer to three-quarter season coverage, but we're here to kind of review some of the things we saw preseason from these teams and what we thought would be, their Achilles heel going into the season and what we thought would be their strengths. Some of the trends we started to notice, or not even just started to notice, some of the trends that have developed through the season for these teams. How you doing today, Chris?
I could be doing better, but I am doing better now because we're here. So it's been a while. We're back, right?
Man. Yeah, it's been too long. It's been too long. And since it's been too long, let's hop into your conference, Chris. We haven't talked AFC North in a minute. I love talking AFC North with you. And unfortunately, the Bengals.
I think it's very fortunate, to be honest. I love looking at the positive perspective of every outcome. And all I can say is that last time Burrow got injured for the season, Jamar Chase appeared.
Okay.
So he's appearing this time. He's on an expiring contract, It's nice having you. Tried your best. But now we're projected like a top 10 pick, probably that 10th. So
Malik Neighbors?
I'm not upset. I'm really not upset. I'm
Romeo Odunze? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, we get a rookie contract with one of those. It's a wrap, brother.
We're right back.
We're right back. Right back to it.
I like the glass half full perspective, but for someone who had a divisionals bet in for $5 to win $3K, every leg is looking amazing except the AFC North Division 1 where I rode with the Bengals. I think I'm gonna go 7 for 8. Sucks, but I think I still had the right read. You guys were getting hot. In my opinion, you guys had the best team offensively, and we're developing a lot on the defensive side as well. We will get to see a little bit of that defense Monday night out there in Duval when you guys show up to play the Giants. But it's tough to ask Jake Browning to really be Joe Burrow. I think we said preseason-wise that Joe Burrow's health and how that offensive line would kind of be able to navigate him, especially the first few weeks of the season where he'd have the calf injury, and then bouncing back from that and defending him past that would be a huge step for that offense. And the calf injury was a real thing in the beginning of the season. Would you agree?
Yeah, a lot more severe than what a lot of us expected, but no slander to the Bengals. They kept all his injuries under wraps this year. Like, the calf injury was worse than we thought, and that was shown, and then somehow he was injured before his very last game. Pics came out of him wearing a brace, but no one had an idea, and somehow he's out. So I don't know why that's been the case. I don't know
very odd behavior.
Why you would put him out there when you know he was already injured the first time and then did it again the second time. It's like, I know our division, it was like a tight race at that point, and we lost every conference game up until that point, but you got to think about the future, and it's like, are you really risking it when T. Higgins couldn't even be on the field 2 weeks in a row? Like, you really going to risk it when, like, Joe Mixon wasn't having, like, the best year of his career? I can understand if it was, like, a different season, but even after we started the first 4 games, it's like, I'm not going to rush him out there for what? Like, for hope? Like, it was already a lost cause, and I think they almost made it worse. I think this might have saved him, it being a different injury than his re-aggravating his calf. So we just have to see what the future holds. But yeah, a lot of questions with a lot of people in that front office. Like,
100%. Outside of us who like to dabble with the money lines and the props and stuff like that, just from a football perspective, you aren't allowed to withhold that information.
Yeah.
I don't know what will happen in terms of like a season investigation or maybe a postseason investigation, but like you said, on 2 different occasions, things are a little bit sneaky over there in the Bengals organization. I still believe if they were healthy, we would have seen a completely different team the second half of the season. I was super excited to go to this game, potentially if he, was able to stay upright. But thankfully, I looked at the tickets Saturday night, figured I'd wait on the Sunday night game. If I had bought the
Yeah.
ticket Saturday night, I would be.
No, I just think it's
down.
funny because the last time the Bengals were in Florida, they were
Mhm.
playing the Dolphins, and Burrow was also injured for that. So
Yeah.
I don't think he's ever played down here as a Bengal.
We'll get him eventually. We'll get him eventually.
Yeah, hopefully.
Shifting to a different team in the division, though. Let's go to the Baltimore Ravens. Preseason,
Yeah.
we made it very clear that this team, they brought in weapons to support Lamar's passing abilities, and so that we could see that on full display. In my humble opinion, I still don't think we've seen a cohesive passing offense out there in Baltimore. I've seen games where it looks okay, and I've seen games where they're just piecing together an offense to kind of get points on the board, and against teams like the Chargers, that could work. But I've seen them struggle against a few other opponents. I don't know how you really gauge this passing offense. Obviously, my take was if I could see this man average around 220 to 250 passing on a consistent basis, I would say that they finally figured out the wide receiver core. Obviously, he lost Mark Andrews for the year. That doesn't help the situation, but OBJ's been a bit of a disappointment, a little bit of injuries. Zay's taking a little while to break out. Rashad Bateman is, teetering on that bust tag. What do you see out there in Baltimore?
I see the same issue we've always seen with Baltimore, and it's just inconsistencies due to injury. Like every other game, Odell was getting banged up, getting out like every other play. So even with Bateman, these last couple games he's been like being ramped up, but like beginning of the season. Yeah. So only real person that's been there has been Zay Flowers, because as you can see, even Mark Andrews is now on IR. So I mean, I think the Ravens did the right thing. It's just the same issue as injuries, and it's like you just got to dive in, look at the details, and see how you can fix it, because it's been consecutive years at this point. Like, rather be usually on the defensive side, but like now it's like, what are we doing?
Covering a couple other aspects, you have a player out there like Keaton Mitchell, though. He's somebody that's kind of risen through all the injuries. They find another undrafted gem.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're able to utilize him, obviously, I feel like they're probably going to move on from, the running back they took fairly early. Name's evading me right now. Ohio State.
JK?
Dobbins. Yeah.
Yeah, and your first
they're
play of
probably
the
going to
season.
move on. I know. I think they're going to move on from him. Obviously, we didn't get to see him at his peak potential for the team. But Keaton Mitchell has a lot of explosive ability, very nimble, smaller back, very good center of gravity. So it'll be interesting to see what they make of him. But through all the injuries, you find gems like that. Unfortunately, with the way the rest of the division is, it looks like Baltimore is going to run away with it. But the closest comp I think they have out there is Pittsburgh, who preseason we listed that in the preseason the offense was clicking. They looked like they had figured it out. Potential big sophomore jump for Kenny Pickett. George Pickens and him, great connection. And then it all fell apart during the season. Outgained by almost 1,000 yards by every opponent. But somehow Mike Tomlin teams figure out a way to win. 7-4, which is crazy to think that this team is 7-4. But up until last week, they couldn't even muster over 350 yards of offense. What do you see out there in Pittsburgh for a team that probably is going to make the playoffs? But we talk about inconsistencies in Baltimore. Their offense, they have really no excuses. What do you think's going on over there?
A little mix of, I would say, two primary things, and they fixed one of them. And the easiest one was Matt Canada. You could tell with his play calling, you could tell with how they were orchestrating the offense, they were being limited because, like you said, they have weapons over there. It's not like they don't. They did suffer from the injury bug a little bit, though, with Deontay Johnson being who he is. Pat Fryermuth's been out for who knows how long, just came back last week. But I also think it's because of Kenny Pickett. Now, I'm just going to say, yes, I am a Bengals fan. Yes, I hate Kenny Pickett. I do talk a lot of trash about him, but it's justified. Like, my argument to the Matt Canada issue was that coaching was with him in the preseason, and they're like, oh, he just looks a lot better this year. We're going to do a lot more with him. And those couple games, that was true. But as soon as the season started, why are we only throwing 5 yards? Why are you only throwing 2 yards. Like, you're throwing screens, like, you're not going deep, you're not utilizing the middle. And in my head, I'm thinking, if you're watching this guy practice every day, you know what he's good at and you know what he's bad at. So you're going to utilize what he's good at in game to win, because the Steelers' formula for a win is through their defense. It will always be through their defense until Ben Roethlisberger reincarnates and comes back. So that's just how it's been. That's how it's going to be. And that's a winning formula for them. It works. As you can see, they're always over 500. But if Kenny Pickett really had that thing on him, I think they would be utilizing it. I think they would be doing that. Yeah, and last week we got a little taste of that. He was utilizing the middle. Pat Fryman had a little 100-yarder on him. They were distributing the ball, running different routes. All great, but they still didn't score. Like, they did get the achievement of, like, having over 400 yards of offense, but they scored 16 points, I think? Like, 1 touchdown, but how many field goals? Like, I don't want to be that guy, but you got to score in this league. You got to finish your drives, and looks like they answered one issue. They got the yards, but now they got to convert those yards into points. So we'll see how that goes.
I just need a better performance out of Deontay Johnson. Since he's been back, I feel like there's been one solid week in there, but there's been a lot of highs and lows. Like I've covered a couple times now on the channel. Went up to Pittsburgh to watch a game. To open the game against us, he had 2 drops. One was probably a wide open, like, 80-yard. If he catches it, he's going for 80 yards. There's nobody behind him. Dropped it hit his palms and he dropped it. And then the second was for a first down to continue the first possible drive for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he dropped it. And if they lead the game off with the field goal even, and our offense had to play with the Pittsburgh defense pressure with a lead, that changes the complexity of the game completely. And unfortunately, I feel like he was part of the reason they couldn't jump out to an early lead. Blames the refs. Apparently, there's been a little bit of, animosity in the locker room between him and whoever. And then this past week, you said they didn't score. That was partially his fault. He gets hit in the end zone, perfect pass, hits him in the chest. Granted, he went down. They claimed that if you run it back, it could have been called a touchdown, but he didn't complete the catch. And then there was a fumble in the red zone right after that, and the effort was just abysmal. So I need him to step up as... Actually, he's probably the vet on this team at this point on the offense.
I think he is.
Allen Robinson, and he's an older receiver, but Deontay's been in the offense longer than anybody on this team, in terms of, like, weapons-wise, right? So we need him to kind of show that maturity and take over in that role. But it's been honestly mind-boggling. I know we always had issues with drops, but I feel like it's gotten worse as his career has gone on. So I feel he needs to lock in, because he's been Kenny's safety blanket since he entered the league, essentially. And if he doesn't feel comfortable going to you, and they can't get Pickens involved, this offense is going to continue to be anemic.
And that's what I think is the biggest issue. It's like, George Pickens is an all-world talent. How are you not getting him involved? How are you not getting him the ball at least twice a quarter? He should have a minimum 2 touches a quarter. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. He is the best person on the offense.
Gotta
you can get
something.
Jalen Warren 5 touches in the quarter. You can't give that boy 2. Like, I've seen games where he's only had 4 targets. Like, what are we doing? And, like, that's where I'm like, okay, it could be Matt Canada, but at the same time, if you are a quarterback, you can throw to whoever you want. They're not going to bench you for Mason Rudolph. It's almost impossible unless you get injured to be benched for Mason Rudolph. That's how bad he is. So, like, that's why
out there too.
Oh, yeah, if you're scared of getting benched for Mr. Trubisky, you shouldn't be a quarterback. And that's the thing. Kenny Pickett is from time to time. That's scary. That's scary. Like, but kudos to the kid. He did show out last week, so
there's a lot to build on. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of potential. Like I said, they have the weapons over there. They have the right coaching. They have pretty much the culture to turn this thing around. Let's just take a little bit more risks. You have, like Chris said, one of the best athletes on the field in most games. Just trust your guy to go make a play over the guy that's across from him. You have teams like the Vikings who do that with Jettas. You have teams like the Bengals who do that with Higgins at times, or Chase, right? Keenan Allen will have a game where he goes for 60 and catches in 180. You just trust that your guy is gonna make the play over the other guy, and that's the only game plan, right?
And that's
CD,
the craziest part
AJ
is
Brown.
that he already has a resume of that. Like he shows that he can do that consistently,
Yeah,
and they're just
yeah,
like, nah. It's like we trust T.J. Watt instead, and it's like, don't get me wrong, T.J. Watt's crazy, he's
yeah.
good, but
But
George Pickens is that guy. Like, what are you doing?
imagine if you
Pick,
could piece both sides of the ball together and like have a fairly potent offense with a solid defense, right? Like teams like Cleveland were hoping to have with Deshaun Watson and the weapons they acquired. Um, Obviously, that went up in flames, but imagine if you're able to build that kind of team out there in Pittsburgh, right? Speaking of Cleveland, though, um, the Deshaun Watson project, where do you grade it right now? Because we're into what, year 2, or is it technically year 3? I think it's year
is
2.
year 2, and
Yeah.
I'd give it a fat F right
Oof.
now.
Oof.
That's the only grade you can give it. The most guaranteed money ever, the first fully guaranteed contract, and this is what you have from it right now. Come on, like it's championship or fail. That's the only way that makes sense is if they win a championship, and they're not going to right now. I still have hope in Deshaun Watson, but that's me speaking personally with my own bias and hope that I bring with me every day. That's not off of what I've seen. That's not off of anything statistical. The only thing that I can back by data is that this season, in half his games he played, he did show he had top 10 potential. But watching those games with like more context, he didn't really look the part. Just statistically, he happened to get that because this year has been a weaker class for quarterbacks. That's what I think. But if I want to win an argument, I will pull that out and be like, well, so just keeping it a buck, it's a F.
I can't give it anything other than that as well. Obviously, you have to factor in injuries, the suspension, and all of that. But the fully guaranteed money is where you lost me, especially with what he was going through. Whether true or not, off the field, that's not the type of person you give a fully guaranteed contract to. You kind of wait and see. You know, you kind of see what goes on, let him get in the building. And there are a lot of comments made about just the generalized pressure that he feels, or the lack of pressure that he feels to perform because the contract is guaranteed. Like, it's a very two-sided coin. Like, do you feel pressure to go out there and play because this team is, you know, invested in you and given you that contract and showed you that they value you? Or do you believe, like, my contract's guaranteed? This shoulder hurts, but you know.
Yeah, that boy's got this.
The boys can do it. That defense is solid, right? It's a very slippery slope, and for him to be out for the season with that nagging shoulder injury, for you guys to still have to be looking at starting Joe Flacco this week. Fourth starting quarterback this year for the team, like. You gotta dial it up to a very big failing grade on not just Deshaun Watson, but the organization as a whole. They failed Amari Cooper. They failed Elijah Moore. They failed that defense, Myles Garrett. They failed Myles Garrett. They failed their fan base, right? You're looking at somebody who you ran out the building, Baker Mayfield. Don't get me wrong, wasn't succeeding by any metric, really. But Tampa might win their division. They're in the race with him as the starter. He's still a starting quarterback in this league and providing, you know, some level of competent offensive play for that team. And like I said, Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco. Not a new Joe Flacco. That Joe Flacco. It's your starting quarterback.
Hey, you ain't seen this Joe Flacco. You never know.
This week. I'm not saying, like, he's going to be buns. I feel like he'll be an upgrade from PJ Walker. And DTR. He knows how to run an offense. He should still have somewhat of a competent arm, you know.
Well, they have the weapons, so find them. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the name of the game.
Run after catch, right? Figure something out. But it's just tough to see that organization shoot themselves in the foot time after time when it comes to stuff like that, right?
I just think the football gods always make sure their dues are paid, and after they treated Baker Mayfield, used him as a scapegoat, thought they could just do whatever they wanted with the Sean Watson situation. It's like, I don't know, because
Gotta dial that
like you
back.
said, that's an elite defense. You got elite receivers. Yeah, had a used to be elite quarterback, and it's like, why isn't it working? You would actually be better off if you get Baker Mayfield. Like, you would probably be second in this division with Baker Mayfield right now, and it's like, you
But
keep
you
on
ran him
doing
out
it
of
to
town.
yourselves, Cleveland. Yeah, like
You ran him out of
and
town.
I'm not upset. I'm really
Nope.
not. Like, you get what you get.
This
Sorry.
division is definitely going to be one of the more competitive divisions going forward, consistently as well. I also
Hope so.
feel we've made fun about the AFC South before. You've made jokes about me calling the AFC South the most competitive division in the NFL. We're starting to, it's starting to be less and less of a joke, man. We have some teams developing in that division. With the emergence of CJ Stroud. I don't know how you feel about the rookie, but I think he's shown us
I
quite a
figured
bit.
they'd be good.
You said they would be good, and a certain guy who we'll name him Trey. Trey said that Houston would win the division.
Yeah,
and I mocked them, and they're not going to win the division. Thankfully, we kind of pulled our pants up and got to work, right? But they're giving us a run for our money. It's 6-5 with a Broncos team that should be a bit tricky to play against, but 6-5. The rookie's looking good. Well, probably one of the best rookie performances I've seen in 6-8 years. What do you say?
Yeah. I mean, it's exceeding above expectations, but not to take anything from CJ. CJ's great.
CJ's performing well.
He was blessed with a great situation at the same time. I'm not talking offensively. I'm talking about as an organization, because as you see with Bryce Young, they ain't helping that kid over there at all.
I was about to say, but I don't. We're calling this situation great, right?
I think it's pretty good.
It looks a lot greater because he's there, though. Like, I believe in the weapons, sure. Tank Dell showed a lot to us. I'm not going to act like I had him as the number one wide receiver coming out. But I liked what I saw in Houston. I just didn't know how to sketch it up compared to, the DBs that were covering him, this, that, and the sort. His size, but he was shifty, Yeah. I don't know if everything looks the same if CJ's not there. Some of the reads he's making, some of the plays he's making are just otherworldly, I feel like.
I agree. I just think from the organizational standpoint, they understand that defense wins championships, and they have been investing heavily, not only with the coaching, but with the players that they drafted with their higher picks to fulfill that. And CJ was the final piece of that, I want to say, mindset, because you do need a quarterback to win at the same time. But for example, with the Patriots recipe and how they were able to build like a dynasty, for example, people sleep on the defense because of Tom Brady, but they've always had an elite defense to where they can now mimic that. If CJ Stroud can just be the conductor, and as we can see, he has Nico Collins, he has Tank Dell, he has Noah Brown, and
Robert Woods, who's 80 years old.
Woods, and he's getting it done with that. Then you can now afford to spend more on your defense because you don't need that much on offense. You have CJ, and it's just them being able to. I think they're going to be able to really ramp that up and max out what they can really get out of CJ, and I think that's why I give him the leverage to that, to where it's as in comparison to Bryce Young, they sold the ship to get him, but now he's alone on that ship, and it's gonna be lonely for a while because they don't even have a pick this year. They gave away the number one pick this year, and you could have got Marvin Harrison with that.
I'm a little bit confused as to why they gave away the pick and DJ Moore as well, with the intentions of taking someone like Bryce Young.
And then you get Bryce Young, and
I don't work in a football organization, neither do you, but I feel like even if I love Bryce Young, I can't make that deal if I have to give them DJ Moore in it as well. Something else has to be involved.
Just look at every quarterback in the league besides CJ Stroud. He has Tank Dell, but every elite quarterback has their guy. You wouldn't draft Bryce Young and his guy is Adam Thielen. Now, granted, Adam Thielen was having a good year. He was hooping.
Yeah.
But that was the mindset. Like, let me go get 32-year-old Adam Thielen. He's our number one priority. Like, they apparently tried trading for T. Higgins, which is a good move, but
you make that move before you move DJ Moore.
Exactly.
Like, you lock that in before you move DJ Moore. You don't make that move and then go, okay, let's see if we can get T. Higgins. You have to get certain T's involved if you plan to give up DJ Moore. Maybe they just didn't value DJ Moore because they let CMC move out the door. I get it. Running backs don't age well. But they literally drop him in the best situation for him. Shouts out to them, I guess. You move off of DJ Moore. A few years back, they move off of Julius Peppers. They move off of Steve Smith. They seem to move off a lot of their guys. And I say a little bit early. You know, I mean, I get it's a business and all that, but at what point do they decide, you know what, we're just going to ride this player out till he's, you know, in the swan song of his career? I feel like they cut ties way too early, way too often.
Yeah, especially with, like, their head coach this year. What did you expect from him? Like, what I want to know from your perspective, what did you think was going to happen to Carolina this year? Looking at now granted, they had a lot of injuries on their defense.
Yeah.
But that wasn't a winning roster by any means.
No,
they were already a top 5 lock pick before the season started. Wait, why are you confused that you're bad? And then you fire the guy that you believe in, and it's like, it just adds more fuel to the fire, and it's like, shines light that we definitely know that you don't know what you're doing now. Like,
and not to mention people coming out saying they wanted CJ Stroud. What does that do to Bryce Young's confidence?
I did see that that the coach wanted him. There was like a split in the organization because the owner was in love with Bryce Young, which is like cool beans. But like, you gotta understand football, brother. Like you said, you can't give up a top 5 pick because your team is bad, and then the number one weapon your new quarterback should have, and then you surround him with Miles Sanders and Adam Thielen. Like,
I'm still not out on Jonathan Mingo yet either. I think he's young, but that shouldn't.
I think he's young too, but it's like you said, the whole situation is a shipwreck right now. So Bryce Young not gonna look good. He's not gonna look good until they get a lot of other pieces in there.
And the problem is they're gonna have to play the prospect evaluation game, because they do not have the liberty of just having an early pick and taking one of the quote-unquote locks coming out. Tough situation over there in Carolina, bottom of the NFC South, with really no vision in sight to them being any better than bottom of the division. In a division that's really not that great. They have an underperforming Atlanta team in the division, which... How do you analyze that offense over there in Atlanta? I see a team with 3 top 10 talents, like top 10 in the draft, not top 10 at the position, top 10 in the draft talents on offense. A coach who's a little bit too smart for his own good, I feel like, who can't just, simplify the game for himself. He just has to show a little bit he has to show everybody how much he knows. And for the first time ever in a long time last week, he just used the weapons that they drafted. Bijan Robinson, tons of usage, and look what you see. Receiving and rushing touchdown. Very explosive. They beat a very, I don't want to say bad Saints team, but a Saints team that can't seem to figure it out, overpaying Derek Carr in the offseason. What do you see out there in Atlanta? Because what I see is just a guy who really just needs to hand over the offensive play calling to someone else.
Yeah, it's really
and
that
find
simple.
Himself.
You've had 13 weeks. We've seen what you can do. Give it up, please.
Yeah.
It's bad. It's bad. It's that bad, and you know it's that bad. And like, you can't check your ego. And it's like, do you want what's best for the city of Atlanta? Because clearly you don't. A good coach would know to get out of the way, but as you know, man's biggest enemy is ego, and he will die on his sword before he gives up his play calling. And I don't understand that mindset. I never will, because when you have 3 top 5 picks, pretty much, you have London, you have Pitts, you have Bijan, you have a great line. Desmond Ritter's bad. I'll admit that. It's not good.
Dollar back. I'm not going to say he's great, but I mean...
It's bad.
He's the best option they have out there in Atlanta. You bench the man for Taylor Heineke, in a game that y'all could have possibly won if you had
he got
Desmond Ridder.
concussed. He got
Yeah.
concussed. So
Yeah, he did get concussed, but you know, he probably
yeah, you know.
played.
All I'm saying is, so all those weapons, I don't care what play you call it, I'm calling an audible every time, and I'm running and gunning, baby. That's all I know. And they're not doing that over there. So same situation with like Pittsburgh. Coaching is a big issue, but we won't really know what they're capable of until that is fixed, because that is the biggest issue.
How do you think they perform out there in New York this week?
Which New York? Oh, Jets.
Desmond Ridder
I don't know
against
how
the
to
Jets
feel
defense.
about that game,
I know.
because I do feel like Desmond Ridder isn't a good quarterback to beat that defense, but I think that's the exact reason why they're going to win, is because I think that. It always happens like that, so I'm riding with the Falcons now. I was on the Jets.
Still playing Tim Boyle.
Yeah, Tim Boyle, not that guy. He's not.
Why?
Falcons defense is pretty good. The Jets line is pretty beat, so yeah, I got the Falcons.
Out there in Jets land, since we're talking about the Jets, do you think they have enough to make it enticing for Aaron Rodgers to come back this year? Obviously, we haven't talked since the horrific Achilles snap, or have we? We might have.
I don't think so.
We might have, because I was about to say, we know, but it happened the first week.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've definitely covered football since then, but we probably didn't talk about that in any type of detail, but, you know, some people believing it's not snapped. I think it was snapped. I see it on camera. It's clear enough for me. If it's not, it's a very severe strain. That thing popped, but do you think they have enough to muster up a run to get him back out there by week 16? Because if they lose 2 more games, I think he's going to just shut it down.
He
but
should shut it down.
So,
like, if he looks this good, this quick, shut it down and just get ready for next year. Get grass in that fucking field. Oh, excuse my language.
But no, you're right, though. Get grass on that damn field.
And let's get to work, because that offensive line is trash. I wouldn't even step back there if I could throw a 50-yard bomb. Like, your health isn't worth it. You're already old. You're already fragile.
Dang,
you can still play next year. No, you can still play next year. Let's be real. Yeah. So why rush it this year when you can be patient, get what you really need? Garrett Wilson will still be there. You need another receiver. Go handle that in this offseason. Your running back will be healthy. Alan Lazard's not that guy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. We know that. But that defense is elite. So just be patient. Like, it's another ego that we have to check. And it's like, we understand that you're that guy, A-Rob, but you don't have to prove that. Just be chill, and we'll see you next year.
My opposing take, though, is you don't want to lose the locker room, though. These guys are on the Jets. A few of them are on the Jets expecting it to be a Super Bowl roster. And
well, it was, but
yeah,
so many injuries. Injuries.
So I don't know if he's doing it to, like, appease his teammates and be like, hey, coming back, everything's gonna be okay, just get enough wins for us to make it to the playoffs, yada yada yada. But
that's the thing, if he comes back and he gets injured again,
if he snaps that thing again, it's
anything
curtains. Yeah,
that's gonna be the last stain on your resume in the NFL career, because you're done after that. You're pretty much done after that, and that's what we're gonna remember you for until you hit Canton. Like you could have just waited, like, because this is gonna be the biggest what if Aaron Rodgers was healthy on the Jets this year. And that will be a thing for a little bit, at least for this offseason.
There will be questions to be asked, right?
Yeah.
So because the way this defense has performed, who knows how many wins they'd have at this point with the way the Bills have fluttered, not being consistent at all. Dolphins up and down, you know. Who knows? Who knows what they could have been if they had some competent quarterback play back there. Are you still in on Zach Wilson?
Oh no, I've been out for a while.
I was about to say, because that was something we made.
Yeah, he's bad.
I don't want to say like we had a super big disagreement on, but you were a believer in giving him a shot to kind of figure it out, and I was not on that boat.
I still think they should have traded for Trey Lance when that was open. I don't know why they didn't do that. If he was only costing,
that would have been a project too. But yeah.
But for his price, it made sense for the organization. Like, same thing with the Bengals. Like, your QB already has a history. You don't have a significant backup. What do you lose with a conditional third? Like, exactly. exactly, or a 4th round pick. We don't even hit on our 4th. So this year we did. Don't get me wrong, but
The Jags
usually we
definitely
don't.
just toss that thing away. We take somebody like Tank Bigsby or something.
Yeah,
Ridiculous.
but even a lot of teams, even with like the Vikings, for example, I don't understand why they didn't. Kirk is about to get replaced eventually. You don't have anyone lined up. You did, but then he gets hurt too, and then it's like you have to go trade for Dobbs, and even Dobbs is a toss-up at this point after last week. That was atrocious, 4 picks, but I don't know. I just don't know what goes through these guys' heads sometimes. I feel like it really is that easy.
Just to go figure it out, just to go get you a guy.
Yeah, just to get it just in case, just to let me think about all the options that could happen. What if,
all the what ifs.
What if our 38-year-old quarterback is injured? Can we win with Zach Wilson? Well, okay, we haven't won with Zach Wilson in the last 2 years, so can we win with Tim Boyle? Oh, it's not good. So at least you could at least flip a coin with Trey Lance because they did have the weapons, but
he got legs too. At least he could athlete the game up.
But they could have got Dobbs. They didn't even get Dobbs. Dobbs would have won.
I think Jameis would have done something.
Jameis would have done something.
I'm a big believer in Jameis as
he let it fly.
As a ball mover. Exactly. That ball not gonna be stagnant. You're not gonna have to worry about him making reads and taking too long, and he gonna throw that thing, right? Somebody gonna catch it. That's the issue. Somebody coming down with it. Will it always be the right person? Probably not. But he gonna throw you something that
for sure.
It's catchable by someone, and it's gonna be probably one of the prettiest things you've ever seen when that thing's flying through the air. It's just what color jersey coming down with it. It's always a toss-up, right? I think they should have went and got that boy. They should have went and saved him from the Saints. Even though the Saints might have to utilize him soon because Derek Carr's been kind of, stinking it up.
He's bad. He's bad.
Yeah.
Carr's bad.
That's probably one of my biggest. I was a believer when he got signed.
I'm thinking it's the best situation in his career. He has to play better, right?
Yeah, I was like, how could it go wrong? And then it very much did.
I saw this man throw in a triple coverage, and I got up from the couch and just walked in my room. I was I'm good. I was so upset at myself for believing in him.
I think one of my favorite one is watching. I don't know if it was against the Jags on Thursday night or which team he was playing, but he threw a ball high and out of bounds. And I saw this man yelling at the receiver about where his positioning was. Yeah, and I was like, bro,
he was no matter you gave up on the route.
Put him, no matter where you put him, he wasn't coming down with that. Oh my gosh.
I was like, come on.
I don't know.
You mad at him or you mad at yourself?
What do you think is your biggest whiff this year? Since we're, covering a little bit of
biggest whiff.
What was one of the things you saw preseason that got you super excited for a team or a player? You're like, man, what was I thinking?
What, saying the Bengals would go undefeated? Does that count?
That's okay. I guess you could throw that one out.
Because I was dead ass serious about that. I wasn't joking.
Yeah, I guess you could throw that
We
one
did
out
beat the
there.
49ers at least. I'll give us when we were looking good, we looked great. That's all I gotta say.
Shouts out to y'all. Shouts out to y'all. Had me feeling good in Pittsburgh. Hit me a little parlay with the Bengals. To win by 3. Shouts out to y'all.
But yeah, I think that was one of the biggest whiffs. A smaller one would probably be the Seahawks take. I thought they'll be a lot better to start out. They're looking better now. Did you have a Patriots take
too, or did you also believe like me that they were going to be bad?
Nah, I think I'm pretty sure they're going to be bad.
Yeah,
I have no reasons to believe when Juju was your number one that you would be good at football.
Yeah, that was my stance on that one too. I think one of mine is thinking the Chargers would be in the mix for the playoffs in their division. Every year, man, they sell me a dream. Every year.
But how though? How do you keep on falling?
I look at Justin Herbert. I look at Eckler. I look at Keenan Allen. I look at Gerald Everett. I look at
look at Phillip Rivers,
Rashawn Slater,
and Thomason.
I look at
Antonio Gates.
Even
it's
though
always
we roasted,
been there, brother.
Even though we roasted Quentin Johnston, I was like, maybe as somebody
Johnston.
with the tutelage of Mike Williams, maybe he'll figure out how to jump, catch, and fall at least. But
You know what? Can I get the floor real quick? I
yes,
just
I'm
want
gonna
to
give you the floor.
apologize to I think the TCU quarterback Max Duggan.
Oh
'Cause I
yeah,
blamed you.
we did.
I said you could be the problem. You're not the problem, okay? If you're watching, I'm so sorry. Please
Oh,
take my
God.
apology,
He
because
was
Quentin
not the
Johnston
problem.
is bad. He's bad. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we came on here and like the body catches are because his quarterback can't throw.
Nah.
We said the body catches are because there's not good enough ball placement. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe with a
Maybe.
maybe with an elite, competent. Let me take away elite. Probably with a quarterback with elite arm talent. Let's put it there. I can't call Justin Herbert elite yet.
Yeah.
A quarterback with elite
Quinn
arm
like the-
talent. Maybe you can make something shake. But I watched Quentin Johnston cost this team games. So
He catch with his forearms, like, bro, use your hands. Hey, why? It's just all you gotta do is this. That's it. Like, you've been to a Jay-Z concert. Oh, you put that little triangle up, bro. You'll catch it. Like, your hands are like at least 8 inches. Come on, bro.
Come on. I don't know what
you
to
have
think of
gloves. You have gloves. If you gotta use stucco, do it, bro. Like, whatever it takes.
Bro, if you gotta cheat, man.
If you got to, because you lost me money on that Packers game when they lost. You dropped a big fourth down
Can I get the floor real
conversion that
quick?
would have put y'all on field goal.
Can I get the floor real quick?
Go ahead.
I told you that the Chargers are the Chargers. It is in Green Bay, and the Chargers are the Chargers. And you said, quote, do not overthink it. There is no way the Chargers lose.
Because they shouldn't have lost. Because as
I
an
don't-
NFL receiver,
We're not worried about what should
NFL
have
receiver,
happened.
when you're wide open, you catch the ball. You know, that's
I'm not gonna lie, he would have been in the
Good
end
job
zone
here,
still. He would have still been running to this day if he caught it.
Yes, game dropped.
Yeah, it would have been game. But I just knew, man, you can't. Keenan's been putting up otherworldly numbers, and you just can't expect the man to do everything, do it all the time.
You
Quentin
got
Johnston's
handed a
just-
promotion with Mike Williams going down, and it's like, bro.
And
Like,
let's not forget, not only that, it's not only Mike Williams going down. Palmer going down. Because he didn't even get, he wasn't even, immediately the second guy. Palmer was still out there on one leg balling.
Yeah.
Before they were like, yeah, he's actually torn up, he can't play. And that's when Quentin was, actually getting significant snaps. So he could go out there and play volleyball instead of football. Always swatting at the ball with his arms.
Like, I'm not giving up on Quentin just yet. I do think this could be the start of a revenge tour. He has to be, egregiously bad for the rest of the year, and then maybe this offseason he might be like, you know what? Maybe I am bad at football. Let me learn how to catch. Because he has the build. He has the speed.
Revenge tour?
He has the vertical. He has the tools to be
You know who else had those?
Who?
N'Keal Harry. Kevin White.
Yeah, but that's different though. N'Keal
Kelvin
Harry
Benjamin.
had no quarterback. Kelvin Benjamin, who was his quarterback? What, those Cam Newton's later years? What?
You gonna blame Cam Newton for Kelvin Benjamin?
All I'm saying is Justin Herbert is pretty good at football. He's not great, but he's good. And you're playing next to Keenan Allen, and next year you'll be playing next to Mike Evans. So you could be
Wait,
solid
what?
or not Mike Evans, but Mike Williams.
I
So you
was
could
about
be a
to
solid
say,
3.
what news
You could
broke
be
that you heard about? But okay.
My bad, man. Hey, you never know. But all I'm saying is, if you're getting one-on-one by a DB that can't match up with you physically because it's going to be the third, fourth string DB, a slot DB, I can't help you, brother.
Do you remember what our take was when he was leaving college, Chris?
What? Oh, no, he was bad? That he wasn't good?
No, not just that. Because you said if he's against a third string NFL DB, he should win that matchup.
He should.
Chris, he did not dominate the Big 12 as a quote-unquote NFL prospect at wide receiver. The Big 12, where they don't play defense. This man had
100%.
multiple games of less than 3 receptions. When he was
and that's
supposed
why
to
I'm
be...
giving him another year.
Oh my
That's why I'm
God.
giving him another year. Because he's
Okay.
playing next to people that can actually help him. Because who did N'Keal Harry play with? We don't know. Who did Kevin Benjamin play with? We don't know. But he is with Keenan Allen. He is with Mike Williams. And they can rub off on him. That's all I'm saying. They could.
Okay. All right.
They could. And I got hope, and I'm buying him at the lowest floor possible. I'm finessing.
Yeah, man.
If I have to trade
just like you
anything of
finessed
actual
for,
value,
what's
I don't
Buddy out of TC? The last TC receiver that got drafted.
TCU.
Yeah, the last.
Oh,
TC.
Jalen Reagor.
Yeah, you going finesse just like you finessed with Jalen Reagor back in them days.
I didn't trade for Jalen Reagor. Don't you ever put that on me. I knew
never
he
got
was
a
a
Jalen
return man, a glorified return man. I watched the tape. Go watch his tape. A bunch of punt returns, 4 minutes long of highlights of punt returns in streets. That's Devin Duvernay. That's a glorified Devin Duvernay.
That's Devin Duvernay.
Y'all crazy. Y'all crazy.
Right, they really took that man over. Sheesh.
But no, like you said, Quentin Johnson, best game in college is like 4 catches, 120 yards. Like, we knew he wasn't a receiver.
No, he snapped. The game against Michigan got him drafted. Let's not get it twisted. The game against Michigan got him drafted. But I still can't believe that we saw a quote-unquote NFL receiver with mediocre stats in a conference where you should be going dumb.
Yeah, you should be manhandling those kids, and you couldn't do it. As a man amongst boys, you should have been. You didn't. So
I digress, right? We
I got hope though.
They can't get everyone right, and like you said, maybe he does need a little bit more development. But sheesh, man. My biggest whiff, because I didn't even get into my biggest whiff. My biggest whiff.
What, Trevon Walker being the number 1 pick?
That's my team's biggest whiff. But don't get it twisted. He's developing too. Obviously, he's not Aiden Hutchinson. You trying to get off, but the man has quite a bit of quarterback pressures, and he had a great
Aiden Hutchinson. Who would have thought?
Yeah, right. Whatever. He got a lot of quarterback pressures. Played well last week against the Houston team. You know, and it's a good thing we have Josh Allen on the other side, so that he doesn't have to be Aiden Hutchinson. So. Yeah, you try to. The biggest whip right now is Tank Bigsby, right? Which, I am on record for not loving the Travis Etienne pick, right? Great weapon, but I wanted us to keep James Robinson. Crazy. Now it's crazy. Back then it wasn't so crazy. Yeah. Now it's definitely crazy. I hit the Tank Bigsby pick more, because one. I'm a little bit of a fantasy junkie, so I wanted the ball to be in Travis Etienne's hands more. And they made it seem like they're going to try to go for like a Thunder and Lightning type of backfield, you know, a Mark Ingram, Alvin Kamara type of backfield. What's currently a David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs type of backfield. And then I try to buy in a little bit. Tank Bigsby is not that guy. And we spent a pretty premium pick when we had other deficiencies on the offense that we could have used that pick for, or even other deficiencies on the defense that we could use that pick for. And now Travis Etienne is still being the every down back when healthy and utilized all over the field. And Tank Bigsby is essentially like the 3rd or 4th string running back. And it just...
Who's second right now?
So they say, Chris, but when Etienne went down last week, it was Dearness Johnson who got more touches than Bigsby. Why do you say yuck? See, me and Matt had the same conversation on Teal and Steel yesterday.
You getting out touched by Dearness Johnson?
Dearness Johnson's not amazing, but he's serviceable.
You getting out touched by Dearness Johnson?
Okay, y'all are some haters.
All right.
Dearness Johnson had a pretty good stretch of games 2 years ago, right? Like, let's. He has decent vision.
Okay.
Not crazy burst, but you know, again, y'all just need to chill out on the boy Dearness Johnson, man.
Once again, you're getting out touched by Dearness Johnson. Now, hey, if you're watching Dearness, great player. Let me work.
Great player.
But Tank, if you're watching, stop right now and go practice.
Go put it in some
You got to do better, bro. What is this?
Yeah.
Dearness Johnson. All right, bro. All right, you got that.
Yeah, Ridley. Oh yeah, you know what's my biggest whiff? I just remembered.
Ridley top 5?
No. That was a joint biggest whiff.
Hey, I'm not still alive in my head.
It's
still
not
alive.
over.
Still alive.
It's not over. The last 2 weeks were good. Justin Ross over 1,000 yards.
Yeah, I wouldn't say you were wrong. I
No,
think
I
he had
was.
some off-field issues that
Even
played
before he
into a
did.
factor.
Even before he did. I was wrong.
Yeah, Rasheed Rice is just that guy. That's all.
He's
That's
not.
all. There's nothing
He's
wrong
not
with
that guy.
He is that guy. Why?
No, he's not.
He's more of that guy
Nobody
than
on that team is
Quentin
that
Johnson.
guy. Nobody on
I
that
think
team is
Rasheed
that
Rice
guy.
is.
Nobody on that
Rice
team is that
slowly
guy.
stepping in that role.
Okay, slowly is the perfect word for it.
Yeah. No, he is also a rookie, but he is showing promise. So I think
He
he's
is
on the
showing
right
promise.
track to be that guy.
Okay, well, I'll give him that. He's on the right track, but he's not that guy.
'Cause I can't see Kansas City using another premium pick on a receiver. They've done that the past 2 years in a row.
I
They
mean,
need that a third
at
year.
this point, they
That's
just need to
crazy.
go find one.
Yeah,
They
you gotta
can't
go buy
draft
one.
them. They can't draft them, so just stop.
Sky Moore is trash. You traded for Tony. Trash.
Nicole Hardman, trash.
Tony. Trash. McCole Hardman, you let walk and then got him again.
Yeah,
Trash. Like,
just
you
stop.
told me your top 3 receivers are Travis Kelce, Justin Watson, and Rasheed Rice.
You were about to say
The
MVS,
fourth-
but that boy don't even qualify as a receiver.
MVS can go. When I need you to catch, you don't want to catch. And when I don't want you to catch, you catch everything. Why? What did I do? That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say. But I do think he's walking into that role. Yes, walking.
Okay, I give you that, but again, whoever's out there scouting their receivers, there are so many receivers coming out every year, right? And for them to whiff so often, right?
Yeah.
God, it really makes you think, like, how does that man still have a job? Like, I'm not calling for anybody to be jobless.
We just assume Andy Reid can just utilize anyone's skill set and like get the best out of them, but then like you see Sky Moore and it's just like, no matter how good of a coach you are, you still need good pieces. Like,
ain't it crazy? I mean,
it's
it's
not a 50-50 relationship, but it's still like a 60-40 relationship.
It could help, yeah. Because I'm not gonna act like he needs. He balls out without. But yeah, definitely could use some better pieces. In closing, week 13, what are the teams that you think are gonna go ahead and take that final step, really lock in, and potentially be Super Bowl contenders going forward, Chris? Quite a bit of teams out there playing well.
Say this,
but go ahead.
Record.
Who do you think's going to be in the Super Bowl on the AFC side and the NFC side?
All right, you're only going to see me say this one time.
Okay.
I think the Ravens are the team to beat this year.
Whoa.
It's just
What?
when they're on, and that's the issue. Their defense is top notch.
That's true.
Lamar Jackson, I love. If they can figure out the receiving situation, even amongst like their number 1 running back going down, their number 1 receiving option, that's Mark Andrews going down, I still like them, unfortunately. And I also like the 49ers, especially after that Chase Young trade. I think that was uncalled for. I think the league should have stepped in. Like
how
they
did we let that happen? Why don't I have Chase Young? If that's the only pick it took,
why don't I have Chase Young?
Why don't I have Chase Young? Why did I have to see Chase Young immediately after they got him?
For the talent and the price, and even if it's just a 1-year rental,
yeah,
bruh, like you can't let the 49ers get that. So
that's the one thing you don't want to get him.
Yeah, I think that's just a luxury pick for them, just to add on what they're already doing. They've looked very complete at times. They fell off for a couple weeks, but I think that's going to help them out in the long run. Early humbling before Storm gets going. But every other team has looked fraudulent at times. The Chiefs have looked fraudulent. The Bills, that's all I'm going to say. The Dolphins, less fraudulent, but they've seemed beatable at times.
They have seemed beatable.
Like the only team they really dominated has been the Broncos when they were like on their last leg. So I like the 49ers and I like the Ravens because when they are on, them boys is on. Sleeper pick, the Dallas Cowboys, I think.
Oh, okay.
They even slept on too. Their Achilles heel is the 49ers though, and it's always been and it always will be. But that's the thing. I like the Cowboys in the playoffs versus the Eagles today.
Ooh.
Right now, not when they played whenever, but if the playoffs started right now, I'm taking the Cowboys.
It's a little bit of
100%, 1000%. 1,000%.
You saw them on Thursday go 41-35 against the Seattle team with
and
no
I just
offensive
saw
line.
the Eagles squeaked by the Bills. The Eagles just squeaked by the fraudulent Bills. So why are they now?
If you put the Bills and the Seattle Seahawks on the same field, I think you know which team you pick to win. So there's one.
But I don't see the Seattle Seahawks beating the Cowboys. I saw the Cowboys beat themselves with all those flags. There's so many flags that night. Like, granted, it was from both sides, but there was like over 200 yards of like flags.
So we're not going to talk about the almost 200 yards DK had. Like
no, that's true too. But I'm just saying, like, there was one drive, for example, where they got 60 yards alone into the red zone from just flags.
Yeah.
Like, that's disgusting.
Okay.
Now that is on the Cowboys' fault, but when I've seen the Eagles struggle with the Patriots, when I've seen the Eagles struggle with the Bills, who are a good team, but you see the Eagles struggle with the Washington Commanders, like, when are you going to call them out? Like, they've been squeaking by all year, the same way the Vikings were squeaking by last year. We called them fraudulent, but now the Eagles are doing it, but Jalen Hurts. Like, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Like,
I understand where you're coming from with that one. Crazy how we ain't getting no love at the AFC talks. It's nuts.
The Jags.
It's nuts.
Y'all might lose to us on Monday, bro. I've been thinking that. Like, y'all might lose to Jake Browning. How do you feel about that?
Okay, you were just saying words. I don't know. Okay.
I'm not just saying words. I want to lose. I want to lose out the rest of the season.
You're not.
I think we win.
You guys won't get within 6 points on Monday.
Okay.
I will wholeheartedly say that. Jake Browning is not that guy. Granted, if you guys had Joe Burrow,
Jake Browning is going to play the most conservative game, and our defense is going to lead the way. Guarantee it.
Your defense is solid. I give you that, but I mean, I just think that we have a little bit more to offer on offense, and it'll be a tough matchup. Yeah, y'all kept it close against the Steelers. We are not the Steelers.
The Steelers.
Our D is a different style of defense, but
it's not the Steelers, bro.
I guarantee Jake Brown will throw at least one pick, possibly two, against our defense. Like, we apply pressure. We're not going to have the steel curtain moniker or anything like that, but we apply pressure, and we're very ball hockey. Not Duran Bland type. Obviously, we let some things get behind us, but we have a pretty solid record of creating turnovers and stuff like that. So, yeah, don't sleep. You really said Jake Brown is going to beat us? That's crazy.
I'm not asleep. I've just seen y'all beat yourselves multiple times this year, and that's why I'm not the biggest.
We've only lost 3 games.
Okay.
Let's relax.
One of those games were to what? The Chiefs. And how'd you lose that Chiefs game?
Yeah, we lost to the Chiefs because we beat ourselves. They beat us like 15-9. Okay. Yes. We got blown out by Houston because we beat ourselves on all 3 facets.
Thank you. Fullback ran back a kick return on y'all. What are we talking about?
Yes. Okay. Cool. That's two losses. And then the third loss was because we started the season, I think, 1-2. Who's the third loss to?
I think you lost. You said the Texans already or no?
Yeah, I did say the Texans. So the Texans, the Chiefs, and there was one other loss in there. Anyway, point being,
handy iPhone. Give me 20 seconds.
We're at 8-3, and you're making it seem like we just been out here dropping games to every and anybody.
It's not that y'all are dropping games to anything and everybody. I've just seen you multiple times beat yourselves. Like, you beat the Titans. You beat the
Bills,
Texans.
we beat the Texans, we beat the Colts.
You got drugged by the 49ers.
Oh, that's the third one. Yeah, we ran into the Niners, who would have been losing 4 in a row if they lost to us. They literally were playing for their season. You beat
the Saints by 7
for their season. Why are you saying the numbers?
You beat the Falcons by 16. I'm giving context. That's all I'm saying. It's like, out of those 8
to win
wins,
all these games by 30?
Who did you actually beat? You beat the Bills. I'll give you that one.
The Colts might make it to the playoffs.
Get out of here.
They might make it to the playoffs in the wild card. We beat the Bills, who now they're all of a sudden buns, but we were the first team to really expose the Bills.
I gave you the Bills.
We
beat them. Who else you beat? The Saints?
The Titans. Yeah, the Saints might win their division. I don't care if they win it at 7 and
Your
10.
Only quality wins are the Bills and the Texans. That's it. That's it. I'm sorry. Like I will give you the Colts. I'll give you the Colts. That's 4 out of your 8 wins.
Okay, bro.
So that's why I'm not.
We can only play who's on our schedule, right? So
For sure.
I just think it's a little bit
why
wild.
you got no love. I'm just telling you.
I think it's a little bit wild that our offense, when it finds its rhythm, is one of the top 10 offenses in the league, and we ain't getting no love to make no noise in the playoffs. We're practically tied for first in the AFC.
For sure.
But okay, for my Super Bowl pick, since I defend my team,
go ahead.
AFC wise, I'm gonna be a homer. I'm gonna take the Jags. If it's not the Jags, which right now it's feeling very much like it's gonna be the Jags, I'm going with Miami because my preseason pick, I was heavy on the Miami train, and I feel like the offense is clicking for Miami. They're about to get Devon Achane, however he pronounces it. Sorry, Devon.
Yeah.
They're about to get him back on the field, healthy.
They might. We don't know.
No, he's playing this week. I already saw
he might.
No, it said he's...
How long?
It said,
he played 2 snaps last time.
Yeah, they say take him out precautionary. Okay. But they have him, Jeff Wilson, and Raheem Mostert out there now. There's a 3-headed backfield instead of, him having to be used as much. They could sprinkle some Jeff Wilson in there. Get Savon Ahmed off the field because he's buns. Hill has something to play for. He's chasing that 2,000 yard. People are starting to forget about Waddle a little bit. That boy is still real.
I'm losing out on Waddle, man. I hate to say it.
Yeah, he balled out against the Jets last week. So
I think next year will be his year. I don't think he's going to be anything crazy this year.
I mean, he's going to do what he needs to do to win games. So Tua's being very accurate. So, I mean, obviously, Jalen Phillips going down for that defense is a big hit. It sucks, but shoot, maybe they could revive JPP's career a little bit. They went and got him from somebody's practice squad and signed him. So, Christian Wilkins is playing out of his mind right now. That secondary still could get got a little bit, but, they're also getting right, healthy and going at the right time. So I feel like if all their pieces click, that team's going to be very difficult out in the playoffs. So I'm leaning Miami or the Jags. Just know it's coming out of Florida with the AFC. And then NFC, I'm a heavy believer in the Niners. They went and assembled the Avengers, man. Like, they're paying everyone top dollar. They have weapons at every spot on the field. Tre'Davious Ward, Chase Young, Nick Bosa, Armstead up the middle. Fred Warner at linebacker. Like, defense full of all-stars. Then you look at the offensive side. Got CMC, Ayuk, Debo, Kittle, Brock Purdy doing what he needs to do to kind of... I'm not going to call him a game manager because I've seen him make some pretty tight window throws. I can say, all right, this boy got some talent, right? But he's utilizing his weapons very well, and he's playing within himself. And I see that team being a very difficult out if they're able to keep a quarterback back there. Now, did they do a good job of keeping a good backup quarterback out? No. I don't think they addressed the backup quarterback situation. So they need Brock Purdy to stay healthy again this year. But outside of that, I know you're not a big believer in the Eagles anymore, but at 10-1, I can't leave them out, man. And they have a quality win against Dallas. And they have a quality win against...
Give them that.
They've gone through a gauntlet that you're not giving them enough credit for, I feel like. So...
When I saw what they did last year, and even though they did take a step back this year, me and you both agree this is a team that could go undefeated. But with saying that, you gotta look like an undefeated team. You can't tell me they look like a 9-1, 10, whatever they are.
10-1.
The way they've been playing does not reflect their record. It just doesn't. They're winning, yes, but
the difference is that their defense is horrible this year compared to last year, right? Like the 29th worst pass defense in the league. All these stats are out there showing that they could be had on defense, which is why the offense has had to, play a little bit above himself. But Jalen has not been as safe with the ball as he was last year. He's taking a lot more risks, making a lot more mistakes. But they keep winning games. And if they beat this Niners team on Sunday, which I don't believe they will, but if they beat this Niners team on Sunday... handed this Sunday. I don't know if it's handed.
It's not going to be close.
But I think they lose.
I think they lose by 2 touchdowns minimum. just because Jalen Hurts will play just good enough to win. But I think the 49ers are going to get up. They're going to score in their opening drive, and they're going to keep on scoring on that team. And I think max, they score twice, to be honest. Like 2 touchdowns.
So you're saying 49ers team total over 25.5 is a lock?
What, the 49ers over 25?
Yeah.
Yeah, to be honest. I just don't see how they're going to slow them down. Someone is going to eat. Rather it be Ayuk or Kittle or we all know CMC, somebody's going to eat.
Debo. Okay. I already had the Niners winning. Don't say who's eating for Philly. Calm down.
Who?
They have weapons on that side of the ball too.
I'm just asking. Who?
AJ Brown's a dog. Devontae Smith's
yeah, 30
a dog.
30 what yards last game? Well, he got locked up because Devontae had like 100 and something.
I was about to say, it's not locked up. The weather was horrible. Hurts barely had 150 passing. Like, obviously,
he's not that good right now.
Oh, Lord.
Like, you're right. It was raining, but it's like I said, he's doing the bare minimum.
It was a mess. It was a mess.
It ain't been a mess for 13 weeks. It was a mess last week.
Okay.
That's just facts. Like,
I didn't know you were that down on the Eagles, but I think if they're able to pull this game out tomorrow, which I don't think they will, you will have to come back on here and be like, damn.
All I'm saying is I saw them week 1, final drive to beat the Patriots. The next week, they barely beat the Vikings.
It looks worse, but yeah.
They didn't even run through the Bucks. Yeah. They almost lost to the Commanders. They were down on the Commanders. That was a comeback win. They beat the Rams. Sure, give them the Rams. They lost to the Jets. Fluke. I'll give them that. Even though they should have won that too. They beat the Dolphins. Okay, 2 touchdowns. I ain't know about that one. I'll give them that one. They barely beat the Commanders again, 38-31. They beat the Cowboys. And then they struggled with the Chiefs, barely won, because MVS dropped a free touchdown. And then even last week they won because Gabe Davis ran the wrong route on the option route.
How did he? Okay, so let's dial that back. Why is it always he ran the wrong route?
It's not always he ran the wrong route. It's when you watch the routes, it's an option route. So you have option 1 and option 2. Option 1 is if you beat the safety, as in you get behind him, you just go straight and run a fade because it's easier to catch on your inside shoulder, and that's what Josh Allen did. But after he beat his safety, he ran the corner route, and that doesn't make sense. You only run the corner route if the safety is over top of you. So that's why Josh Allen threw to nobody, because he ran the wrong route. If you beat your safety, you run a fade, and he did that. And he was like, nah, let me go to the corner and do a harder catch because I just love catching over opposite backside shoulder for a game. Like, I don't know what his deal was. Okay. Like, it just doesn't make sense when you watch the play and it's like, he's on his heels. You have him beat. Like, you have speed. Just run straight.
Yeah. That's fair. Okay.
So, yeah. So, with those two that they scrubbed by, go ahead. They should be 8-3 right now. Realistically. They really should.
You hear how crazy you sound? Smith,
I don't sound crazy.
8-3.
They should.
Oh my
Gabe
God.
Davis ran the wrong route.
Team is washed.
MVS dropped the ball.
Yeah, but you're saying 8-3 is washed. What are we?
I'm
what
not
are we
saying
arguing?
8-3 is washed. I'm just saying 10-1 should be 8-3, and that 8-3 is very suspect when you barely beat the Commanders twice, when you almost lost to the Patriots.
So many layers.
Like,
this man said
I'm adding context. I'm telling a story, and the story is
you
the
are
Eagles
telling
are fraudulent this year.
right now. We live in reality. They're
Put it like
squeaking
this.
by.
When they face the 49ers, who's going to lose? Who's losing when they face 49ers?
I'm picking the Niners to win the game. We've agreed on this.
Okay,
that doesn't mean this team is just magically bad.
Eagles and Ravens, who are you picking?
I'm taking the Eagles.
Over the Ravens right now?
100%.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That
all right, so I'll give you that
great.
one. I'll give you that one. Dolphins, Eagles in a playoff matchup right now. Who are you taking?
Well, we saw that game play out already.
I said playoff matchup.
And I'm probably still taking the Eagles.
Not 3 weeks ago. I'm talking about today.
I'm probably still taking the Eagles because now the Dolphins defense is not even close to what it was that week.
I'm saying we gonna see the real Eagles come out. Like, y'all can quote me on this when they play the 49ers next week, when they run a rematch from the Cowboys. Or this week, yeah. When they run it back with the Cowboys next week. When they play the Seahawks, because even the Seahawks is gonna be a little test, and then get a little breather with the Giants. Then we'll see. This little 2 weeks is going to say a lot for these boys. But they've been teetering for a while now. I think they get exposed.
Jeez Louise. Exposed at 10-3. That's nuts.
No, they get exposed by their real competition. Like, we know they're going to make it to the AFC Championship, but are you going to win it this year? Because last year, they did win it, but there was a huge asterisk. You just can't
no
ignore
quarterback
it.
for the Niners.
So,
yes, we get it.
If the 49ers have a quarterback this time, with that in the back of their heads, they're running up a check on the Eagles.
I mean, you could run back the tape. I also said the Niners were supposed to smash them if they had a quarterback. I still believe that's the case. But guess what? You're saying this team's going to make it to the NFC Championship and you're calling them frauds. That's not fraudulent. Like, what are we talking about? We're moving the thing so far ahead because we want them to be Super Bowl champions. We're just saying they're in the mix.
I'm saying this because, like our statements from earlier this year, we said they're going to be a dominant, undefeated team.
We didn't say that this year.
And
we said they're not.
I did. I said.
You said they're going to be undefeated? I did not say they were going to be undefeated.
I said this could be a team that could go undefeated. Is what I said.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Based off of their schedule, based off how they played last year, they could do that. And as you can see, they're doing that. But with that statement, I'm thinking a dominant run. I'm thinking you're handing teams L's. You're not just scrubbing out wins. Like, you over here handing out ass whoopings every week. That's not been them this year. I'm sorry. Okay. Against the teams that they should have been beating that ass, they haven't been doing it. It's like they play to the level of their comp every week.
Oh no,
they do. They scrub it out and they get it. They edge it out, and it's like that's not cute, man. Hey, no.
All I'm saying is, for us to kind of shift the goalposts and be like 8-3 is exposed, or if they don't win the Super Bowl, or yes, they'll make it to the NFC Championship possibly, and then get exposed. That's not exposed. This is still a very successful season. And in terms of like competing for the NFC, there's not many teams. You're picking Dallas now, which is, I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone that you're picking Dallas now.
They look good. That defense is serious.
That defense gave them 35 points this week to Seattle.
That's fine.
Relax.
I don't care.
Derek Bland lets everything get behind him if he doesn't pick it. Like, that's his two. That's his
fine.
two settings.
That's fine.
It's interception.
Cool. They said the same thing about Diggs. They said the same thing about Diggs. All pro.
I don't care. It's the same shit. He's an all-pro receiver, not a DB. Like, what are we talking about? God.
That defense has shown me some. I've seen dominance from that defense. Where it been at in Philly. I ain't seen it all here, brother.
We see dominance.
You talking about Seattle dropping 20, 30 on Dallas. The Commanders averaged 30 on the Eagles. The Commanders.
That man's also leading the league in passing this year, isn't he? Am I wrong on that statement?
The Commanders.
Am I wrong that Sam Howell is leading the league in passing? Am I wrong on that?
Yeah, no.
Am I wrong that they have Eric Bieniemy as their offensive coordinator and he's scheming up some things that's pretty solid over there for Washington? I'm not saying it's a great team.
No, 100%. So why did the Cowboys win 45-10?
That's a good point.
I don't know. Why did they lose to the Giants 31-19?
Because of DeVito, man. He had the know what I mean? He had the
Why did not only did they lose to the Giants 31-19, they also lost to the Giants 14-7.
They did?
Yeah.
Damn, they got swept by the Giants? Nobody gets swept by the Giants this year. Look, we already discussed that
they lost to the Bears 40-20.
29th worst pass defense in the league. Where
lost to the Bills 37-3.
The Washington Commanders' strongest is their pass game. 1 + 1 = 2, Chris. So yes.
No, you're right. I'll give you that one.
They throw the ball a lot, and the Eagles have the worst pass defense in the league.
All I'm saying is Deron Bland gave up so many yards, but when they played the Commanders, I guess he was that guy. He did his thing that week.
Don't have to do your thing too much when you're getting enough pressure on the quarterback. The Eagles are more of a run-stopping team, not a sack the quarterback team. I feel like they're a little bit slower on the offensive line. The defensive line. If you ask me, they should really commit to getting the rookie some more touches because they've looked the best when he's in the game. But I digress. We're going back and forth. The point I'm saying is this team is 10-1, no matter how fraudulent you think some of the wins are. Yes, they're not the best on defense anymore. Yes, Jalen Hurts has regressed. This team keeps winning games. This team still has very, very solid weapons. This team is fairly healthy, getting Dallas Goedert back. and potentially adding Zach Ertz back to the mix to be a solid second tight end option for him, there's somebody to look out for in the NFC. And yes, the Dallas Cowboys look good. I'm not going to bash on them because, you know, you don't like the Eagles. But if we go back literally like 2 weeks ago, we were questioning this Dallas team.
100%. But
So,
as of today,
let's dial it
as
back a
of
little
right
bit.
now,
We saw them
if
2
I'm
days
the
ago put up 41 points.
if
And
I'm
under
the
best things since sliced
49ers,
bread. So
I'm the 49ers, and I got to choose between the Cowboys and the Eagles. I am picking the Eagles. If
I am
the
not.
Cowboys,
If I am the
and I
Niners,
got to choose between
me-
the 49ers and Eagles, I am picking the Eagles.
Give me
They're
Dak in the playoffs. If I am the Niners,
MVP Dak?
give
MVP
me
Dak?
Dak.
We might be saying that soon.
Am I recording with
saying
Trey?
that soon. You might. Hey,
Am I
look at
recording
football.
with Trey?
Dak is playing out of his mind right now.
What is
Dak
going
is-
on? Yes,
Dak
he
is no longer the problem. He's no
You're-
longer the problem.
It's crazy.
He's not.
We change our perspective
He's
on a player
not.
in 6 weeks. Because
I'm
6
not
weeks
scared
ago,
to
the man
update my
had...
opinion.
You're not.
I'm not scared.
You're not.
I
But
watch football. I'm seeing him progress for once. He's playing pretty fucking good.
He's using
right
his
now.
legs
Yeah,
again, too,
watch-
which...
Yeah,
That's what I
like,
always said. Bring the legs back out, and the man brought the legs back out. So I give him that. But
that's all I'm saying.
let's calm down. Okay, he might win the MVP.
He might.
But
I think Tyreek Hill still should win it still, but he's
They're
a
not gonna do
quarterback.
that.
He gets points.
they're not
Yeah,
going
I
to do
know.
that. They're never going to do that. I think
If
Tua
he
should win
gets
comeback
2K,
player of
they
the
might.
year. He's not going to get
No,
it.
that's Hamlin. Hamlin got his one snap in like 2 weeks ago, so
Bro, that's not fair.
it's fair. Brett died on the football
I
field.
don't care.
There's no way.
I'm
if
gonna be
you
honest
died
with you.
on a football field and you come back and play a single snap, that's
I
a
don't
lock.
care. You
That's
know what
a
else he
lock.
did? He caused the Bills to lose. He was the 12th man on the field.
No. I heard that was fake. I heard that was fake.
Was it fake?
I didn't verify it, but I did
Was
read
it
the
fake?
comments. They're like, nah, you're doing this for clout. It's messed up. So I'm pretty sure.
Is it fake?
Pretty sure. That was a crazy
I hope
tweet
it's fake.
because if that is true, that's messed up. But
If it's fake, I hope it's
Yeah.
fake. Because if it's not, well, actually no, I hope it's real. Because if somebody lied and said that the man who died cost them the game, that's crazy. You
yeah,
should be
I'm
ashamed
just
of
glad
yourself.
that Burrow's gonna get comeback player of the year next year.
He's
So,
not.
he
He's
will.
already been good for too long, so I'm not gonna give it.
Yeah,
to
but
him.
who else is gonna get it next year?
Aaron
Who's he
Rodgers.
competing with? Okay, brother. Okay.
Yeah, he's old. And, you know, he's charismatic now because he be saying funny stuff on the Pat McAfee show. So,
Yeah, bro, it's
Sorry.
coming back in 2 weeks and ending his career.
bro,
Watch.
if he comes back and
I
plays
really
on that
hope that
Meadowland
doesn't happen.
turf, if he comes
yeah,
back and
I
plays on
think-
that Meadowland turf, it's curtains. That thing be snatching
No.
Achilles like crazy.
It really is.
So he
I
need to
really
chill
think
out
he-
with that.
his-
Any closing thoughts, Chris? We've been on here almost an hour and 20. This has been fun.
No closing thoughts. I'll see y'all next year at the draft. That's what I'm looking for now. Cause
Bro, I'm gonna start doing some player prospect
Yeah.
coverage. I saw a Braylon Allen clip that. Whew, I don't know if you know who Braylon Allen is, but
I haven't gotten to the running back seventh. I know
Braylon
who he is.
Allen.
I don't know his work right now.
who?
He's just a big 19-year-old. That's all I know.
He's a big 19.
Yeah.
That's
He's a big
that
kid.
man. Let's talk about progression. That man could be something, right? But I saw one run that sold me. Like the vision is insane. The nimble ability, the nimbleness. I don't know if nimbleness is a word, but the way he maneuvered to the hole, bro, nuts. I might send you the clip after this, but insane,
Yeah, let me see what's
insane. If he's doing stuff like that
We don't see.
at 19, he got better vision
don't see
than. I was about to say DeAndre Swift, but that's not saying much. Anyway.
Watch your mouth. See.
He does not have good vision. I love DeAndre Swift, but
Yeah,
the
you
vision
love the
is-
Eagles, but they got weapons that don't got vision. That's crazy.
he doesn't have great vision. Have you seen that man run the ball?
I have seen him.
That's
go
coming from
straight
a
to the
fan of
back
DeAndre
lineman.
Swift.
I
right?
love DeAndre Swift.
I love DeAndre Swift,
No
but I've
idea.
watched this man. If he has to make a decision, 60% of the time he picking the harder way. Right?
Yeah.
Anyway.
He's gone after this year.
What?
I think he's gone after this year.
To who? Running backs aren't like gold on the market anymore. You
Cincinnati.
can just go draft a young one. Oh, if he goes to Cincinnati from the
Cincinnati.
Eagles, he'd be tweaking. Anyway, thank y'all for watching. This has been KickNPost. Midseason review, week 13, beyond review. We appreciate y'all tuning in. glad we're back. Glad we have Chris back. It's always good having Chris on, so he could, get me riled up about my team and get me riled up about other teams. Hopefully we're in for some good football to finish out the year. Hopefully we're in for some good football this week. You have any plays you like in closing so we can help these people win money? I don't know if you've been tuning in to Teal and Steel, but we've been hitting them with the anytime touchdown parlays recently, hitting them over the head every week.
I like the Cardinals this week. I don't think the Steelers can score over 14 points, and I think Kyler Murray can.
The Cardinals.
So,
because they cost me $6,000.
You cost you $6,000.
How did I do that?
You picked them. They didn't pick them.
Yeah, 11-1.
You did.
Cost me $6,000.
You did.
That was them. They did that.
Just do better this week. That's all. Pick them this week, and they'll right their wrongs.
Okay, so who the Cardinals play this week?
Steelers.
You are smoking dick.
The Steelers can't score more than 14 points. It's a fact.
Okay, yeah, that's wild.
They can't score. It's not
that's
wild.
Who they play. You are taking the Cardinals straight. Okay, or are you parlaying them with someone?
Yeah, I'm taking them straight. Actually, I have a parlay with them plus 10.5 because that's free. Because the Steelers cannot score.
By 10.5. Yeah,
they
I'll
don't.
That.
Like,
yeah, Steelers not beating nobody by 10.5. I agree with you.
It is worth the plus money, though. It is worth the plus money.
They are not losing to the Cardinals this week.
Why not?
Because
TJ Watt scoring 3 times?
That defense know that TJ Watt's probably going to kill Kyler Murray. But anyway.
Is he though?
Anyway. Okay, so you're taking Cardinals straight. That's your play for the viewers?
Yes, because Kenny Pickett can't score more than 2 touchdowns.
Well, that's why I'm taking Kenny Pickett over 1.5 passing touchdowns this week.
Why would you do that?
Because it's happening this week.
But why this week, though? Why didn't it happen last week?
Well, I mean, I did have him in a parlay doing it last week.
They had
as well.
400 yards of offense.
Yeah. And we think the Cardinals secondaries was really going to be this crazy.
They had 2 touchdowns. I think
force.
Warren and... I'm not saying they were stopping force.
Najee got in, and it was all
Najee.
kicks from then. It was a 1 touchdown and 3 field goals, or whatever it was.
Cardinals defense is pretty solid. Solid enough to stop that mediocre offense still. Because
I thought the Rams put up like 38 last week on this great
because
defense.
Kyren Williams is better than the entire Pittsburgh offense. Yes.
You are just talking now. Like, you are not even trying to give takes.
He has more points than the entire offense combined this year.
You're not even trying to give takes. Kyren Williams is solid. So
how many touchdowns does Kyren Williams have right now?
Probably he had like 10 on the season, maybe. No. I don't know.
And how many touchdowns do the Steelers have on the season?
Probably like 16. I don't know.
You think they have 16 offensive touchdowns?
Potentially.
I really don't know. I just really don't think so.
I don't know for sure, but that's not the point I'm making. Score. So if you want to win some money this week, here you go. Go tap that Arizona Cardinals Steelers game. You're gonna hit Kenny Pickett over 1.5 passing touchdowns. You're gonna hit George Pickens over 100 yards and anytime touchdown. You parlay those 3, you probably can retire because those things haven't happened this year, but they're happening this week against the Cardinals. You are welcome.
Yeah, the last time Kenny Pickett threw for 2 touchdowns was
I think you were in grade school. Anyway.
Yeah, week 3. Yeah.
So it's happening this week against a very bad Cardinals defense who can't stop a nosebleed. And that's it. And if you want to lose your money, you don't have to
stop a nosebleed when you're playing the Steelers.
When you want to lose your money, you will tell Chris on Cardinals money line, because somehow a team that plays solid defense is going to lose to a team who has no business being on the field this week. So I'm putting my foot down because that was a horrible take. And I want my viewers to win
Murray
money.
runs one in and James Conner runs
that
one
probably
in.
will
That's
happen.
all it's gonna take. That's all it's gonna take. It's 2 touchdowns to beat.
Not to win the game, to cover 10.5, but not to win the game.
I think to win the game. I really think
they're gonna have to score more than 14 to win the game. I'm sorry. They aren't.
Do you think the Steelers can score 20 this week?
I think the Steelers can put up 28 this week.
28 points this week?
Yes.
In 1 week alone, 28 points.
Yes, I think they can. Against this Cardinals team, I think they can.
Okay.
I'm not saying the defense won't be one of those touchdowns, but I think they can.
The defense is going to have to be all 4 of those touchdowns, brother.
They're not. What did you put in your water? Why do you think the Cardinals have this elite defense? This video is supposed to be ending, but you just keep setting my blood pressure up.
I'm not saying the Cardinals defense is elite. I'm saying the Pittsburgh Steelers offense is non-elite.
Yeah, we know this. But
it's not.
You could probably score on the Cardinals defense. The Cardinals defense had the Giants with Daniel Jones come back from like 20
The
points
Steelers
with
can't
Isaiah
score,
Hodgins
brother.
and Darren Waller. I know they can't score, but they're going to score this week because the Cardinals are bad.
They put up 10 points against the Jags.
Why are we going back in time for when Matt Canada was there? I don't know, like...
okay. The 1 week he wasn't there, they put up 16 points.
I know.
1 touchdown.
Yes.
What are we saying right now?
They didn't play the Cardinals. Okay. So we'll take your Cardinals pick. That's your pick for the viewers. I'm sorry, viewers. He didn't really care about y'all.
100%.
I gave y'all the same.
You told them George Pickens 100 yards. You don't
Yeah.
care. That's a dream, brother.
It's hitting this week. It's hitting this week.
Okay.
That's all I know. It's hitting this week. 100 yards and an anytime touchdown. I'm doubling down on the Pickens hype this week. Ain't nobody in that secondary can stop Pickens. They better target that man before he asks for a trade.
They don't have to. Kenny Pickett will, man.
You're wild.
What did he do What did he do last week without Matt Canada? What did
Stop going into the past. They're playing the Cardinals this week. We're on to the Cardinals.
The past? George Pickens had 3 catches for 58 yards.
We are on to the Cardinals.
3 catches.
Yeah, those 3 catches are gonna go for 100 if he plays the Cardinals. Anyway, this has been the KickNPost YouTube channel and podcast.
You drinking that teal and seal juice, man?
I'm not.
About me.
I'm not this week. I just know the Cardinals suck. But
no, they're pretty bad.
That's all I know.
They're gonna beat the Steelers. They're gonna beat the Steelers.
Yeah, man. Just like how the Chargers are supposed to beat Green Bay. This has been KickNPost. Thank y'all for tuning in. Can't wait to catch y'all on the next one. Maybe me and Chris will review some, weekly stuff when the Cardinals get beat 28-12 by the Pittsburgh Steelers. And at first I was gonna, you know what? Now I'm gonna put so much money on the Steelers. Ooh. That's it. That's my closing thought. Steelers retirement parlay coming soon. Thank y'all for watching. We'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.